Fox 34 Football Friday, presented by Cardinal Sports Center. It's 10 o'clock, and it's time for Fox 34 Football Friday.
Tonight on Fox 34 Football Friday, the battle for the Silver Spurs suspended till next season. We'll have the history of this classic rivalry between Monterey and Lubbock High.
And Post looks to keep their perfect record rolling if the Antelopes are able to outrun the Whirlwinds.
Friendship fired up to finally have a home game. How the Tigers fared against San Angelo Central. Hard to believe, but it's week 9 here on Fox 34 Football Friday. I am Bobby Joe Brown, but of Verby.
Well, hello, Bobby Joe.
Hello.
And I'm just Kurt Kaiser, plain old Kurt. Our game of the week.
Kurt on the cob, corn on the cob, Kaiser.
Oh, that's not bad.
Okay.
I like that. Thanks, Rob.
You're welcome.
Our game of the week is featuring Friendship and San Angelo Central, both teams coming off big district wins last week. Let's head out to People's Bank Stadium. Here come the Tigers. Watch out, Brady
Woo.
King. Watch it. Here she goes. Oh my gosh.
That doesn't look good.
Not at all, but she made it out of there. Bobcats with the ball. They made it out too. Malachi Brown, quick slant to Seth Levesquez. He picks up plenty of yards, taking the ball deep into a Friendship territory. That would set up the very next play. It is Samuel Navarrete. He would take it in from just a few yards out. 7-0. The Bobcats would take the early lead. Lift him up in the air. Early second quarter, San Angelo Central knocks on the door again. Navarrete finds the end zone again. Few yards out. 14-0. Friendship trailing. Tigers finally get it going on offense. This is Corbin Gandy off his back foot. He finds Klein Coker on the slant. Tigers down 14-7 at the break, but they would not recover. They lose it 35-7.
Well, Friendship taking the home field for the first time this year, and it wasn't pretty, Kurt.
No, it was not, Rob. Our Brady King was out there at People's Bank Stadium. She joins us now live. Brady, tell us how it went out there for the Tigers. Rough night.
Well, guys, yeah, it was a rough night. As fired up as Friendship was to finally have a home game, unfortunately, that momentum didn't really carry over onto the field. Coach Northcutt told me earlier this week that in order to get this win tonight, they really needed to get their offense going early, which obviously did not happen. The Tigers didn't score until late in the second quarter on that Corbin Gandy pass to Klein Coker, and they wouldn't score again. Meanwhile, the Bobcats defense making big plays and stops and really pouring it on in the second half. Another factor that might have played into the game tonight was this cold weather. It really is the first time they've played in it all season. And I don't know about them, but I couldn't feel my hands, so I can only imagine how they felt. But anyways, now San Angelo moves on undefeated, 2-0 in the 6A District 2, and Friendship falls to 1-1. But up next, they'll be on the road to Odessa to face Permian. So hopefully they can turn things around after this one, learn something from it. Come back fired up next week. Reporting live from People's Bank Stadium, Brady King, Fox 34 Football Friday.
And Brady's from Colorado, Kurt.
Yeah, so she should be used to the cold.
She
What's
should.
up with that?
I don't know. Let's
Yeah.
head up the Pandal. Lubbock Cooper taking on Randall. First quarter Pirates ball. Caleb Stripling, 8-yard scamper for first blood. 7-0 Cooper. Randall goes 4 and out. Pirates Holt Gibson. Picked off, though, by Steven Rodriguez. I'm working on that. I just can't do it.
You're getting better.
Yeah, not really. They couldn't produce on it. The Stop Pirates defense holds Randall off for the rest of the game. Pirates plunder the Raiders.
Oh, I like that.
Oh, there's a lot of alliteration in this.
Yes, there
winning
is.
17-7 on the road.
Congratulations to them. Post Antelopes making the long drive up to Floyd-Ada to visit their new stadium. Very nice digs. Quarterback Slayton Pittman gets the job done early, finding the crease Kirkpatrick a quick slant, then handing off to A.J. Jefferson, outrunning the Whirlwinds. Big gainer for Jefferson. A little bit later on, it is Jefferson one more time. Agile, like an antelope. He leaps, he dodges the defenders for the touchdown. Our sports reporter had to get out of there before it got ugly. Bold Gold stays golden. They win it 69-0.
And that was Jake. We're going to fire him again tonight, Kurt. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Our next road trip with Rob down into the Permian Basin. Idalou taking on Stanton. Wildcats wasting no time, getting going. Brock Leatherwood, the fullback, finds the edge with plenty of room. He will go all the way to the end zone. Look at him go.
Yeah.
Idalou on the board early, 7-0. We're going to flash ahead. Wildcats again Ryan Lozano from scrimmage. Another enormous run. Wow, I'm going to go dun 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 dun, even though it's a run. 92 yards to the end zone. Mean Green takes this one. They were awfully mean. 56-8 was the final.
Wow, the offenses were definitely going tonight.
All righty, let's throw it back to Thursday. Estacado hosting Perryton, Plains Capital Park. And, real quickly, Shallow Water with the win tonight over Kermit. The final in that game was 52-7. And now we throw it back.
Now we do.
Thursday night
Deja
football. Estacado hosting Perryton at Plains Capital Park. First drive for the Rangers, Jahir Romero runs it in for the score. Perryton strikes first, up 7-0. Later in the first, Dobbins, Jalen, goes deep to Elio Willard. Nice play right there. The Mats muffing the extra point, down 7-6. Rangers ball now, the quarterback scrambling, and he is picked off by Anthony Hawkins. They had 4 INTs, Kurt.
Yeah.
The Estacado defense. Next play, Dobbins. He's going to whip it to Willard. His second touchdown of the night, takes the hit. The extra point was blocked, therefore Estacado led 12-7. The Rangers respond right away, capitalizing here on 4th and goal to go up 14-12 just before the break. But Estacado in this back and forth thriller would come away with the win 26-20. They're now 2-1 in district play. Alrighty, Red Raiders back on the Jones turf for the first time in a month. We preview their homecoming matchup with West Virginia.
And our high school expert, Garrett Lufts, will give us the scoop on Lubbock Cooper versus Randall.
And Roosevelt looks to continue their perfect season. Did the Eagles fly over the Antelopes? We'll find out next on Fox 34 Football Friday.
You're watching Fox 34 Football Friday with Rob Verby, Kurt Kaiser, and Brady King. Fox 34 Football Friday. First and most comprehensive, this is Fox 34 Football Friday.
All right, welcome back to Football Friday. The Eagles soaring to new heights this year, undefeated through 7 games, Rob.
Yeah, they've done it with stout defense, shutting down and shutting out the opposition 4 times this year, 4 shutouts, allowed 2 points one game, 5 another game, but a tough opponent tonight, Abernathy, on the road right before half, 7-6 game. Lopes driving down the field, Jess Hole slings it out to Colton Campbell with the big gain for Mr. Oh, we got the big hit too. Next play, Malachi Reyes zipping in and out of defenders. He's going to gallop into the red zone.
Is that what galloping looks like?
That's galloping.
Wow.
Yeah. Just under 2 minutes left. Here, Hole, I should say, finds the big man, Landry Miller. He emerges in the end zone. Anywho, Abernathy would play spoiler tonight, Kurt.
Yeah.
Dashing, you love it when I say anywho.
Anywho's my favorite
Okay.
word.
Dashing the Eagles' hopes, 28-12.
And anywho, let's head to Nolan Stadium. New deal, hosting Tahoka 41-0 at the break. Wow. Lions, could they roar any louder? The answer is yes, they could. Here on the sneaky reverse, DeMoria Hall. There he goes. Nice run, DeMoria. The Lions are up 48-0. The Bulldogs barking just a bit. Nathaniel Castillo running right at our very own Jeff Sizemore. His uncle played for UT and the Eagles. Boo, boo. The Lions would get the ball after we give that little shout out for the Sizemore family. Jordan Aubrey would turn on the Jets. He is gone. But wait, hold everything. Just a minute. See that great play? Didn't happen.
Not going to count.
Not going to happen. Officials call holding, negating that big run. Anywho, New Deal wins it 48-0.
No more anywho, I promise.
Okay, that's
all right.
Yeah, you're right.
Hale Center hosting Sundown. We're going to pick it up in the first quarter. Owls with the ball. Whoop. Yeah, I know, it's hard not to do it. Pass over the middle, intercepted by Marcos Hernandez. But the offense would stall. A defensive battle tonight, Kurt Kaiser.
Yes.
Second quarter, scoreboard's going to light up. Carson Holson, the big guy, slings it to Brandon Kinley. And he takes it home, 6-0 Roughnecks.
The truck's coming through town. Hear that?
You can hear it loud and clear. Take cover. Sundown will go for the 2-point conversion. Holson keeps it. The big guy chugging in. There's that horn again.
I'd let him through.
I would too. Sundown strikes oil in this one, winning 30-0.
Oh, striking oil. Well, it's a good thing that Slayton has tornado sirens. Lamesa is looking to wreak havoc. First quarter, there's no score. Josiah Zapata Zapata is Spanish for shoes, you know. He's got the shoes as the Golden Tours take a 6-0 lead. We like to educate people here, too. On the very next drive, the Tigers moving the ball. Zapata does it once again as he does more than just shoe sales, making this fourth down stop. Lamisa's band using Cherry Blossom Props as entertainment for its halftime show. That is Josh Marquez with the second quarter entertainment. He does the helicopter like him John Elway did in Super Bowl 32. Not a reference. We toss around lightly on the show. Lamisa, in the postseason, they win it 34-8.
And I remember that play clearly, late in the 90s.
With Elway, yeah, big
Trinity
play.
Christian hosting Lubbock Christian. Frio's Gourmet Pops, this week's concession champ.
Yum.
Trading in the creamsicles for the cocoa. Eagles up 12-6. It's a sea of hands as Alec Lack shows no lack of receivers. Off the hands of one into the hands of Jackson Smith.
In slow motion,
FOX34,
really
super
good.
slow. All right, hello there. We cut away to the stands, a fun atmosphere reminiscent of summer church camp. Back to the game, LCHS goes for 2. Lack fires a missile to Caleb Coates. Big Blue leads 20-6 for Mr. Lyon. That rings his bell. Lions trying to cut the lead in half. Marcus Ramon Edwards wearing out the Eagles' vaunted defense. And that vaunted defense comes to life when Cade Landrum, no relation to Tito, comes up clutch. Lubbock Christian, too legit to quit. Eagles win big, 36-6.
Too legit to quit.
Yeah, right. And the Landrum reference was a former Cardinal.
Tito, we know Tito Landrum.
Tito,
yes.
way back in the day. All right, we now bring in Garrett Luft. Let's start with Abernathy and Roosevelt. Garrett, were you surprised by the outcome in this one?
You know, not really. This was the first real test that the Eagles were going to see all season. I think they had met every one of the previous opponents with dominance, but Abernathy's a different story. It's a big win for Justin Wiley at Abernathy because I think that they've kind of been on that teetering on the fence of, are they going to still be one of the top teams in this area in their division, or are they going to kind of fall down? And they made a statement tonight with their win. They scored 28 points. Roosevelt had only given up 23 to this point all season. A big turning point early in the fourth quarter of this when Roosevelt returned a punt for a touchdown that would have given them a lead, called back by a block in the back. I already am aware of a number of Roosevelt folks that did not feel like that call was legitimate, so I'm sure we'll hear about that some more this week. But Jess Hull with 2 huge fourth down conversion passes in the fourth quarter as well, and they just came through real clutch there at Abernathy to get the W.
Garrett, let's talk about Lubbock, Cooper, and Randall. Tell us about the Pirates tonight.
Well, the Pirates don't give up a first down until the last minute of the first half, and they had to do that because Holt Gibson kind of struggled for the first time. And he overcame that and got some scoring drives late that made sure that they won the game 17-7. But ultimately, it was the defense that carried them. They did give up some points and some yards in the second half, but they forced 3 turnovers, including a big-time fumble recovery and return by OU commit Kobe McKenzie. So I think the defense that carried them tonight, that offense is going to have to get more in sync if they're going to really make a playoff run, I think. But huge for their defense tonight.
And I think one more real quickly, Friendship tonight falling at home. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and again, backup quarterback there for them and Gandy, and I just no offensive rhythm whatsoever for the Tigers. And San Angelo Central was a 1-3 team, but they nearly beat number 4 team in the state. A&M Consolidated a couple weeks ago. They're way better than their record. So I still think Friendship might be okay, that this Bobcat team was underrated. But the Tigers are in a bad spot. It's Permian next week for them.
All righty, Mojo. Thank you, Garrett. We'll chat with you a little bit later on. And Lubbock High having one of its best season in years. We talk about the Silver Spurs game and that matchup that is not going to happen. Plus, we'll talk a little Red Raider football. They're back home for the first time in nearly a month on homecoming to face West Virginia.
Now, back to Fox 34 Football Friday.
And Lubbock High's football program unfortunately shut down for 2 weeks because of COVID, forcing the team to forfeit its next 2 games.
And Rob, it really is unfortunate. Westerners supposed to take on Monterey Plainsmen in the battle for the Silver Spurs tonight. Always a highlight. This rivalry goes back to 1955 when half of the Westerners became Plainsmen. On Thanksgiving Day, 1956, the 2 football teams went head-to-head in front of 11,000 fans at Jones Stadium. Monterey left that matchup feeling extra thankful.
There's Jeff Klotzman.
Oh, there he is, yeah. 27-7 win. And since then, the Plainsmen have bragging rights, securing the Spurs a record of 55-10-1. Coach Hutch and Coach Stephen share why this game is so very special for the schools.
You know, the only thing I know is every time we walk by in the halls, those Silver Spurs are in that cabinet. And always on this week, my principal really tells me we need to keep those Spurs in that cabinet. And so I know it's a big prideful thing as far as being able to win that game and hang on to those Spurs.
Try and get those out of my memory because Coach Hutch has gotten the better of me the last couple of years. But I'm looking forward to that time when we do get my first victory in the Spurs game and I can have that experience. Our senior class was really looking forward to having an opportunity to play for the Spurs and felt like they had a good chance this year. And, it's good for the community to have those rivalries. It's been going on a lot longer than I've been around, and it'll be going on a lot longer after I'm gone. So it's a lot of fun. Just unfortunate this year. This year's very unique in some of the challenges we're facing.
Yeah, you know what, Kurt? I'm just happy we've got high school football to talk about.
Absolutely.
Because we're really lucky to have that. But looks like Monterey will make it 56 wins this year by default.
Yeah, it's not ideal, Rob. Hopefully that rivalry will be back on the field next year. As we talked about, it's had a great storied history, and you hate to see it end the way that it did this season.
Yeah, but it's COVID 2020. Nothing we can do about it.
Absolutely, another chapter.
Yep. All right, Texas Tech battles it out with West Virginia tomorrow at the Jones. Can Henry Colombi lead the Red Raiders to a victory in his first start? It's all next on Fox 34 Football Friday.
Now, back to Fox 34 Football Friday.
Looking to put the brakes on a 3-game skid, the Red Raiders hosting West Virginia Saturday afternoon, homecoming for the Scarlet and Black.
Yeah, Double T making the switch at quarterback, Bowman to Colombi. Red Raiders a 3-point underdog at last check. The Mountaineers boasting one of the best defenses in the conference, ranked number 1 in pass defense and number 1 in rush defense.
Those guys are back up front. The 55 and 56, the brothers, they do a great job of being disruptive with how they move and twist in the line games that they use, and then they're very, very athletic. And then what they're able to do kind of on the back end, it's a little bit of a hybrid of the 3 safety structure that we saw from like Iowa State and a 2 safety. They end up with a lot of 4-man rush.
You know, I had hair like that last night when I was trying to be John Denver.
Yes,
a little
did.
bit.
Yeah, very similar.
Yeah. Saturday's game will also be a homecoming for Jared Dagey, the former LCP quarterback, now leading that West Virginia offense.
His brother Seth, of course, leading the Red Raiders to an upset of number 5 West Virginia. That was back in 2012. Jared finding his groove in Morgantown after transferring 2 years ago from Bowling Green.
Obviously, starting, he has a much better command of, what they're doing schematically, and you can just tell he's definitely improved. Does a nice job spreading the football around. When you look at all their receivers, they got one with 19 catches, one with 18. Their top 4 or 5 receivers anywhere from 19 to 15 receptions, so he's doing a good job spreading the ball around. He's managing the game really well. Just seems to be very under control. He takes some shots, so he'll stand in the pocket when he feels pressure coming.
Game time 4:30 tomorrow. Hopefully the Red Raiders can get back on track and get a win.
I hope so. And we usually root for a Dagey here in Lubbock, but not this time.
No, I don't think so, but he's a good kid.
He is.
All righty, still ahead, we take another look at the scores around the area. Another win for LCP. Speaking of the Pirates, as they take down Randall.
First and most comprehensive. This is Fox 34 Football Friday.
And Friendship's long-awaited home opener, not what they wanted, obviously.
Long-awaited.
Yeah, they fall to San Angelo Central 35-7, and it was Estacado last night beating Perrington 26-20.
Now, all year, Lubbock Cooper has been known for its lockup defense. It happens again as the Pirates shipwreck the Randall Raiders. The final there was 17-7. The Antelopes posting their second straight. Should I get that, Rob? Posting?
I get it,
okay.
sort of, yeah.
I just wanted to make sure. Blowing out the Whirlwinds, 69-0 was the final.
Idalou still sporting one of its toughest teams in years. That's quite a statement as the Wildcats stampede the Stanton Buffaloes 56-8. Number 3 ranked Shallowater galloping to another win this week. The Mustangs get the win over Kermit 52-7.
Yeah, there was a lot of galloping for them tonight. Roosevelt has been one of this year's huge success stories. However, they do suffer their first loss tonight. They fell to a very tough Abernathy team. That was a 28-12 final. The real deal, new deal, dominating on both sides of the ball as they beat Tahoka 48-0.
The Roughnecks, my favorite nickname, proving they don't give a hoot about
They
the
don't at
Owls.
all.
Not a hoot. Sundown, they get the dub 30-0, and don't sleep on Lamesa. For the love of the Lord, don't sleep on Lamesa.
That was a movie, wasn't it?
I think it was. The Golden Tours gained their third win of the year, brushing off Slayton 34-8.
Just like was right on their shoulder there, brush it off.
Just brushing them off.
That's the way they did it. Yep.
All righty. Well, the Battle of the Spurs was canceled this year. Lubbock High still having its best season in many years, really. They had been. Garrett, what has been working for them, you think, earlier in the season?
Well, I think there's a lot of senior leadership on that team, especially quarterback with Brandon Smith, a coach's kid, brother on the team also. Ton of leadership there. And he's got skill guys and Darren Mendez and Noe Tiarina out in the outside. It's last time Lubbock High was really good back in the mid-2000s. They had basically that. They had a pass and catch combo that was really, really strong. And so they had that. They have guys on the line on both sides that are able to hold their own. And really, that's typically the challenge for the Westerners is just not having much up front. That they got all those pieces, and it just makes you sick for them because Coach Steven had really one of the best teams maybe in decades that they've had there. And for all this other junk to hit, especially right before Spurs week, I think that's a killer because what a motivator. That's something that I'm sure they talk about in the offseason that they motivate with all through the summer is talking about those Spurs, and to lose that opportunity is a killer. But this is the team, though, I think, even though they're going to have to forfeit 2 ball games here in district play, that could have some noise made, and if they can just win a few, they could find a way to make things interesting and try to get into the playoffs. But the task is a lot taller than it was a few weeks ago before all this COVID mess, and I just hate it for them because they really deserve better.
Yeah, it was really hard for the coach to hide his disappointment when we were talking to him. You could just tell the angst he felt just describing that what goes on for him and his players has to be tough. Garrett, let's talk about next week. Let's look ahead now. What's your pick for game of the week next week?
Well, it's really hard to pick any one game. What's interesting to me about all this is that we're just barely starting district now in all these big school districts. And the small school districts, you're seeing them wrap up things. In fact, for a lot of districts, next week is their last game of play before they have a bye week in the final week of the season. Honestly, I'm looking really, really hard at that Roosevelt-Coahoma game. How well do they bounce back after their loss tonight to Abernathy? I think they're good enough to beat Coahoma and get at least the third spot in that district, and that would set them up for a huge battle a week later against Idalou, which would really be a statement maker if Roosevelt could knock off the Wildcats. But, man, they're rolling there in Idalou right now. But how well does Matt Lander's team respond after their first setback of the season?
Hey, real quickly, about 30 seconds. Estacado got a win last night. Could they right the ship here a little bit? Maybe still win the district?
Man, they're all over the map. You lose to Borger a week ago, and now you come back and have a really tight game against Perryton. You score late, and then you get a huge pick to end a drive that could have won it for Perryton. I think this is a team that could do just about anything, but as we've seen, they could also do anything in the wrong direction as well. So who knows who shows up on a weekly basis, but Coach Cluley will have them ready come playoff time.
Yeah, and they won that first game against Seminole, that big fourth quarter rally, so they've been up and down.
Up and down, roller coaster, man. The Matadors are all over the place.
All right, Garrett, appreciate the time as always. Have a great weekend. Kurt, I think we're done. They're giving us the wrap-up sign. Saturday morning quarterback, tomorrow 7 to 9 a.m. Garrett Luft is on that show, so check it out. Andreas Flores has the high school fan zone during the week on 100.7 The Score. It's Estacado and Coronado Monday evenings, Monterey and Lubbock High on Tuesdays, and Friendship and Lubbock Cooper Wednesdays, each night starting at 7. You can also find those interviews at fox34.com under the Sports tab. For Kurt, I'm Rob. So long, everybody.
Good night.